Raheem Sterling, is he the reason for all the horrible things happening to Arsenal this season, or is he just a convenient scapegoat? Let's talk about it. Raheem Sterling joined Arsenal on loan from Chelsea in the last hour on the last day of the summer transfer window.
And I'll say this, you're about to see the best of me.
He was Edu's last signing before he resigned his role as sporting director. He was brought in as cover for Saka, Martinelli, and Gabriel Jesus, and yours truly was very excited to have him as part of the squad. I've been a fan of Sterling for years, but you are kidding yourself if you think the role he is playing now is how he was intended to be used. This is a player who, after he left City, has struggled for form and apparently is dealing with a chronic knee injury. At the end of the summer transfer window, with all our attackers healthy, it was a reasonable assumption that we would be fine with our attacking options, at least until the new year. Hindsight is always 2020, and no one could foresee the predicament we find ourselves in now. There were always going to be critical eyes over this transfer after getting burned on the Willian signing. Fellow Arsenal fans see any Chelsea player we sign as a potential bust.
Oh my days! You bring off a Aubameyang and pull off Willian! You dickhead! Oh my god!
The prevailing sentiment, though, it's a bit unfair. We've had several that have been quite decent. David Luiz, Jorginho, and yes, Kai Havertz have all done well in the red. Even Sterling's early days were decent when he got to play. And this is where we come to the first issue. Early on, he barely played. Through match week 16, he only played 146 minutes in the Premier League. Most of these appearances were a few minutes here and there, and the one game he did start versus Bournemouth, when he was playing well, he got hooked early on after Saliba got sent off. In the League Cup, he was handed a few starts, and guess what? He did well, albeit of course it was against lower league opposition. He was the man of the match against Bolton with a goal and an assist, and did well against Preston North End and Crystal Palace. The festive period is when things started to go off the rails for Sterling, when he picked up an injury to the troublesome knee of his. He would miss the next 4 matches, and by the time he returned, we had already lost Gabriel Jesus and Bukayo Saka to long-term injuries. Knee injuries are notoriously difficult to bounce back from, especially when you are a wide forward facing down some of the filthiest mid and low blocks that we face on a weekly basis. But try telling that to the hysterics that expect him to turn into the second coming of Pele. His recent form is where the scapegoating has reached Mount Everest levels. Since returning versus Manchester United in the FA Cup, he's only had meaningful minutes versus Tottenham and Leicester. Ironically, Arsenal won both matches, but that won't stop the mob from getting out their pitchforks. On one hand, I understand the frustration. He seems devoid of confidence, can't beat his man, and there have been a few passages of play where he looks like a newborn baby deer on the ball. But on the other hand, what do you expect him to do? And let's not act like Trossard and Odegaard are tearing things up. Both of them, for long stretches in these matches, look completely out of ideas. We can't lay all of this mess at Raheem's doorstep. The scapegoating of Raheem Sterling has reached alarming levels, and it's mostly due to Arsenal fans having nowhere else to lay their blame. You can't fault players for getting injured. There's only so many times you can call out the transfer committee, and it's not like Sterling is missing sitters. Considering the context, thank Allah we have Sterling, because otherwise it would be Trossard, the child Wanyeri, and Mikel Merino up top, and that's it. Fact of the matter is, we are in a difficult position due to the caution shown by KSC and the transfer committee, and criticizing Sterling, it won't help. Truth be told, it is going to be an excruciating finish to this season. The title race is over, we're out of both cups and in a top 4 race. Even our Champions League tie against PSV is not going to be straightforward. We'll struggle for quality in the final third, and goals, they're going to come at a premium. All Gooners need to strap up, lock in, and support the man. He's all we've got.